Homeland Security right now says it has identified places along the border where it could start building that wall. You know, a good chunk of it has a wall already in place, or the beginnings of it, especially along the Southern California border. So it's not as if something isn't there already. But the Federation for American Immigration Reform, Stein, says it is needed regardless. Dan, very good to have you. You know, all of this comes at the same day we're learning the administration is pushing 10,000 new ICE officials to do, I guess, what that wall should be doing and cracking down on criminal illegals who are already here. Is this 1-2 effort, or whatever you want to call it, part of a new tone in Washington?
Well, thanks for having me. Neil, look, these are complementary efforts. The wall is a powerful symbol. It tells people all across the world, don't even try. Whereas putting ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, both in the interior and on the border, that's a process of trying to put in place these very powerful tools. Look, since 1996, Congress gave the president a whole lot of very powerful tools. These tools are in the law, and John Kelly's using them. Now, Barack Obama walked right up to these tools, turned his back, and folded his arms and said, nothing to see here. Donald Trump, he's moving at the pace of, you know, a cheetah, right? I mean, if Congress is a snail and nothing gets done, Donald Trump is a cheetah, putting in place the old 287G cooperative agreements with state and local police, building up the Border Patrol.
A wall is a wall is a wall, and you got to have a wall along the entire border. But can it go along the entire border? And can the costs that I've heard, anywhere from 18 all the way up to $50 billion, cover it?
Neil, the voters who voted for Donald Trump, what they want is secure borders. They want security on the southern border. Now, if it takes a wall, 50%, fencing, other things deployed in the interim, what they care about is they want illegal immigration stopped. And nobody's going to quibble over the trifles of whether it's concrete, you know, or brick, or, you know, made of mosaic tiles.
But they will quibble over the price, right? I know the argument seems to be the Mexicans are going to find a way, whether they like it or not, to pay for this. But is that a moot point in the scheme of things?
Well, one of the things in this Kelly memo is they're reviewing all forms of aid that go to Mexico in one form or another. So clearly Donald Trump is taking a look at all the leverage, all the incentives he has to get the Mexicans to cooperate and help pay for the wall. And as I said before, you know, it's in our interest and Mexico's interest to clean up the cartels and the corruption along that border. And a border wall is part of a balanced, integrated strategy, along with a force multiplier of state and local police, mandatory detention, dialing back credible fear determinations so that they're not abused. I mean, there's some great stuff. You got to realize that these memos that they're putting out, they unleash a battery of tools that Congress has given them that make it very possible to control our border. I'm not upsetting the cameraman, I hope. Very possible to control our borders in ways we have not seen, you know, in 30 years. But Dan,
let me ask you something, because one of the things we've discovered, of wall or no wall, is that a lot of illegals have been very good at digging tunnels, some very elaborate, you know, sophisticated, long tunnels. How would a wall stop that? Wouldn't it encourage that behavior, and wouldn't you need even more agents along the line to watch out for just that sort of thing?
Well, sure, but obviously that's where the deployment of sensors and drones and satellite imagery, you know, you find a tunnel, you fill it up. But remember, we're coming out of 8 years of an administration that just simply didn't want to see. Right? Just absolutely had no interest in seeing what was before their eyes. Obviously, a wall by itself is not a proper framework of the analysis, Neil. It is everything. It is the messages we send overseas, the curtailment of abusive consular decisions that give people visas who aren't going to leave the country. It's interior control, state and local cooperation, you know, credible fear determinations and mandatory detention. It's all possible because Congress has given the president all these fabulous tools, including funding of structures along the border. Donald Trump understands that he's got great tools, great power. He's got a great guy in John Kelly. Lots going to happen, and, you know, courts simply do not have jurisdiction to challenge everything he's trying to do because border control and border security is an attribute of national sovereignty.
All right, we'll watch closely. Dan, very good seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Great.